DJ, how come every time there's a foul, a questionable foul, a flagrant foul, a smack across the face, a fingernail in the eye?
The unrivaled league is erupting with turmoil. In a jaw-dropping moment, Dejanay Carrington slaps Kate Martin mid-game, an unexpected and blatant foul that has left both fans and competitors stunned. With Caitlin out of reach, Dejanay directs her aggression toward Kate, igniting chaos on the court.
What really happened here, man, with Dejanay. Okay. Nice pass. Oh, man. So you're going to help her up right after you clobber her like that, right? You're going to help her up after you clobber her like, didn't even look at her. Oh, she's so shady.
Dejanay Carrington is once again grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons, sparking debates about her notorious reputation for playing aggressively. This time, her focus shifted to none other than Kate Martin, who has become the latest casualty of Carrington's contentious strategies.
If she can't get to Caitlin, she'll just settle for Kate.
As Martin advanced past Carrington, the defender executed what seemed like an overly aggressive maneuver. Instead of challenging the ball within the bounds of fair play, Carrington swung a dubious arm toward Martin, making contact in a manner that sent the Iowa standout sprawling to the ground. The impact of the foul left Martin visibly distressed, clutching her side as officials promptly signaled the play and rushed to evaluate the situation.
Being reported that Kate Martin gets annoyed over Dejanay Carrington's physical defense during Unrivaled. WNBA standout Kate Martin didn't seem to appreciate the physical defense Dejanay Carrington played on her during Unrivaled League. And I'm telling y'all right now, we already know how she coming, bruh. She's very handsy with her style of play, and she's not the only one. It's a lot of ladies in this league that play like that.
Replay footage underscored the gravity of the incident. The arm movement wasn't accidental. It seemed deliberate, sparking accusations that Carrington had reverted to her previous aggressive playing style to secure an advantage. Martin, renowned for her toughness and sportsmanship, was left lying on the court, requiring assistance to regain her footing. Fortunately, after a brief evaluation, she was able to continue playing, though the effects of the moment lingered.
She has hurt her nose again. I don't know if it's broken or not, but I think Kate's just toughness, resiliency, and leadership is the biggest thing. And I mean, you see it, like, Kate's a pro player. Like, you see her game, she's hitting fadeaway jump shots, she's going at people.
Additionally, Kate has injured her nose once more. Whether it's broken remains unclear, but Kate's toughness, resilience, and leadership are undeniably her greatest strengths. You can see it in her gameplay. She's a seasoned professional sinking fadeaway jump shots and fiercely challenging her opponents. If you're familiar with Dejanay Carrington's history, you know she has a notorious reputation for dirty tactics. True to form, Carrington's latest on-court actions have once again taken center stage, sparking widespread outrage. Last season, Dejanay Carrington's questionable tactics were on full display during a heated matchup against Caitlin Clark, an incident that remains one of the most discussed controversies in WNBA history.
WNBA Twitter is currently crashing out over Black Eye Gate. I'm sure we've seen by now this play where Dejanay Carrington pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. And after seeing this angle, so many people are saying that it was intentional, right? Dejanay goes up to steal the ball, and when she comes down, her hand goes like this, straight into Caitlin's eye. Do I think that this was a reckless play? Yes. Do I think that she did it with the intent to hurt Caitlin Clark? No. Do I think it should have been called a foul?
Carrington's notorious eye poke not only left Clark sporting a noticeable black eye, but also ignited a whirlwind of criticism throughout the league. Fans and analysts alike condemned the brazen act, with Indiana Fever supporters at the forefront, branding Carrington as a dirty player. For many, that moment wasn't merely a momentary lapse in judgment, but a pivotal instance that showcased her readiness to push the limits. Now, following her recent confrontation with Kate Martin, these allegations feel more substantiated than ever as Carrington appears intent on cementing the very reputation she has long sought to distance herself from.
It did not stop one Dejanay Carrington. Of course, she's the person that multiple times had, egregious altercations with Caitlin Clark last year, including the eye poke, the eye gouge, the eye scoop out of Caitlin Clark's head, heard round the world last year, as well as whatever that ridiculous flop and gyration was during one of those games.
The matchup against Martin ignited tension from the very beginning. The Iowa star was unstoppable, her swift movements and accurate shooting overwhelming Carrington. Martin was a constant presence on the court, effortlessly slicing through defenses, orchestrating plays, and maintaining her composure under intense pressure.
Here, as the camera pans over, she reaches in and swipes at the ball, but how hard are you going to do it exactly? You trying to break somebody's arm? Look at that. Look at that. Boom. You know, it's the small things that ain't great.
What made the incident even more striking was the composure Martin exhibited in stark contrast to Carrington's aggression. Recently stepping into a more prominent role and receiving increased playing time, Martin demonstrated precisely why she has earned the trust of her coaches and teammates. While Carrington appeared eager to unsettle her opponent, Martin remained calm, maintaining her focus and consistently performing at a high level. Her ability to stay unfazed despite Carrington's provocations further solidified the perception that Martin is swiftly emerging as one of the league's most promising talents.
What are we doing? We trying to break an arm now on top of it? This person just says it. It's almost assault. Good grief. That looked like break my arm, bro.
Dejanay Carrington's attempt to disrupt Martin wasn't just ineffective, it seemed like an admission of frustration. Throughout the game, Martin showcased her expanding skill set, executing plays with precision, making intelligent decisions, and sinking crucial shots when it mattered most. Despite Carrington's efforts, she couldn't contain Martin, and the foul only highlighted the disparity in their performances. For fans watching, it was evident that Carrington's actions reflected a player struggling to adapt to an opponent who was simply outperforming her. This isn't the first time Carrington has employed such tactics. Known for her fiery demeanor on the court, her approach often treads the fine line between competitive and reckless.
Bleacher Report posted a quote that said, "I played my last game in Dallas." Did you really say that?
I know. I'm sad about it though. I like the fans, I'm the fans, but
that's it. That's it. It's time to move on.
After weeks of intense speculation, Satou Sabally has finally addressed her free agency status, unveiling a series of unexpected developments and bold decisions that could redefine her WNBA career. What's driving this intriguing move? Let's uncover the story behind her fascinating choice.
Moving with a potentially different shoe brand, but also the decision to change teams. Yeah, so I'll be a free agent this year, and oh my god, I feel like this is just super exciting. So
in a highly anticipated live stream, Satou Sabally finally shared news that has fans buzzing with excitement and speculation. Displaying her trademark grace and composure, Sabally announced that she had officially played her final game with the Dallas Wings, marking the end of her chapter with the team.
what team am I going to, Taylor?
I don't want to say no names. Hey, I just want to say.
Don't say anything. That's
I
what
don't say no names. No, because generally we don't know yet. We don't know yet, but.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Just know wherever statue ends up at, ring incoming. Ring incoming.
In a highly anticipated live stream, Satou Sabally delivered news that has fans buzzing with excitement and speculation. With her characteristic grace and poise, Sabally announced that she had officially played her final game with the Dallas Wings, signaling the conclusion of her journey with the team. We got Sadhu Sabally trending on X. Come to the Fever. We got the motion. Sadhu's star power, plus her German flair, plus Caitlin Clark connections equals untold endorsement wealth. So the Dallas Wings have lost Sadhu Sabally. Well, she's gone. Sabally's announcement was clear, yet rich with underlying meaning, particularly when she addressed the rampant speculation about her next destination. While many assumed she was headed to the Chicago Sky, Sabally clarified the situation unequivocally. She had reportedly declined the opportunity to join Chicago.
Unrestricted free agent, the Chicago Sky do have some of the most cap space in the league this offseason. Should the Chicago Sky target Satu?
100% yes. There's no doubt about it. She's easily, if not number one, on the free market list.
The motivations behind her decision remain unclear, but her opting out of joining the Sky has only heightened the speculation surrounding her future. Since then, rumors have taken off, with one particular storyline especially capturing the interest of both fans and analysts alike.
Let's talk about travel. Let's talk about charter. Let's talk about the WNBA. We would save days. Yes, I hate to make excuses that we're tired, but reducing travel time increases recovery time. It increases this time to be able to eat, sit, be away from light that hinders you from actually getting a good night rest and sleep, scientifically proven.
The chatter indicates that Sabally may be heading to the Indiana Fever, where she could team up with the emerging star Caitlin Clark. This potential alliance has the ingredients of a game-changing synergy, poised to shift the league's power dynamics significantly. Sabally's versatile skill set and sharp court vision, paired with Clark's scoring prowess and relentless tenacity, could elevate the Fever to new heights. This move is sure to unsettle players like Diana Taurasi, Aja Wilson, and Angel Reese, leaving them upset and stressed. And let's not overlook how much Cheryl Swoops disapproves of this possible partnership.
In an unrivaled press interview, she goes to state, "I've already communicated with Dallas how grateful I am because they've made this a home for me for the past years, and I'm working with them together in finding the next home for me because I've already played my last game in Dallas." Wow. So what does this mean? Well, Dallas Wings will undoubtedly court her, which means they're going to be looking for some sort of a sign-and trade.
The potential move for Sabally to the Indiana Fever is intriguing for multiple reasons. Firstly, it would position her as a leader on a team with significant upward momentum. The Fever have been undergoing a rebuilding phase and are demonstrating promising signs, and incorporating a player of Sabally's caliber could expedite their rise. Additionally, teaming up with Clark, a standout who has garnered national attention for her stellar performances, could form a powerful backcourt that opponents would find daunting. Although Sabally has not yet confirmed or dismissed these rumors, the anticipation surrounding the possibility is intense. Fans are closely monitoring her every action, analyzing each statement and gesture for hints about her next career move.
I'll add something to that too. When I was driving to the game today, obviously it's annoying because there were way too many Caitlin fans and but it just kudos because it's amazing to see so many people in women's basketball jerseys. It's amazing to see the excitement and the joy that comes out of that. So although I feel like our Dallas fans could have done better, I had mixed feelings obviously seeing all the Caitlin jerseys in our home, but it's an amazing sign for women's basketball.
Despite the swirling rumors, one thing remains clear. Satu Sabally's next move will be one of the WNBA offseason's most highly anticipated decisions. Sabally's influence and presence are sure to make a significant impact in the league. Whether she chooses to join Caitlin Clark in Indiana or takes a different path, we can only watch and wait as this exciting chapter of her career unfolds. In a sports world often riddled with competition and envy, Satu Sabally has distinguished herself as a trailblazer, not only through her exceptional gameplay, but also through her unique perspective. When Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise captured the attention of basketball fans nationwide, not everyone was pleased. Satou Sabally's decision to openly support Caitlin Clark was both refreshing and unexpected. At a time when many were focused on comparing statistics or lamenting their own lack of similar recognition, Sabally saw the bigger picture. She understood that Clark's impact on the sport went beyond individual accolades, contributing to the elevation of women's basketball as a whole. Instead of giving in to underlying jealousy, Sabally expressed her gratitude for what Clark brought to the game, a surge of energy, visibility, and enthusiasm that women's basketball desperately needed.
It's that time. Call this.
You guys, everyone wants me to cry today. No way.
Have you ever witnessed a basketball star tear up over someone else's triumph? Well, A'ja Wilson just did. The WNBA champion was seen in tears, but not for the reasons you'd expect. It's all in response to Caitlin Clark's emotional jersey retirement announcement.
I was like in tears, y'all.
You might be asking, what's all the fuss about? Don't players have their jerseys retired all the time? Well, not like this. Caitlin Clark's retirement ceremony is already setting records before it's even happened. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson's fans are crying foul, suggesting Iowa orchestrated this to steal the spotlight. But what spotlight? Iowa likely didn't even know when South Carolina planned Wilson's ceremony, especially since she graduated nearly a decade ago. We've got the facts, the timeline, and fan reactions that tell a different story. Let's break down why Wilson's tears are flowing and how Clark is once again changing the game for women's basketball. February 2nd, 2025. Don't forget that date, because it's about to become legendary in women's basketball. 2 players, 2 jersey retirements, but only one is stealing the spotlight like a supernova. Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson, both revolutionizing women's basketball in their own ways, are set to have their jerseys retired on the same day. But that's where the comparison ends. Clark's ceremony at Iowa is generating a buzz that's completely overshadowing Wilson's South Carolina event.
Iowa taking on USC and Juju Watkins, nationally televised game, I believe. February 2nd, 2-2, so it's 22. Everything about it lines up.
Let's talk numbers because they're crazy. The cheapest ticket to see Clark's jersey rise to the rafters is over $700, which is the most expensive ticket in women's basketball history. For some perspective, this price tag is even steeper than the cheapest ticket to an NBA Finals game. And if you're aiming for the best seats in the house, you'd better have a thick wallet, with tickets going for over $8,000. Meanwhile, you can catch a seat at Wilson's ceremony for just $25. No, that's not a typo. We're talking about a price difference more than 28 times higher for Clark's event.
But that is a supply and demand thing, especially in today's day and age where there's no such thing as a sellout, right? Where you can go to any event you want as long as you're willing to pay for it because of the secondary ticket market.
Social media is blowing up with reactions. This isn't just about ticket prices. It's a game-changing moment for women's basketball. The demand we're seeing now was unimaginable just a few years ago. Clark's final home game shattered records with tickets reaching $450. But now that feels like pocket change compared to her retirement ceremony. What's unfolding here is Clark reshaping the entire landscape of women's basketball. She's not just rewriting the record books on the court, she's breaking barriers off it. Clark has become a cultural icon, drawing in fans who might have never tuned into a women's basketball game before.
I'm leading scorer in women's college basketball.
wait, there's more. This story is far from over. What does Wilson and her team have to say about this, you may ask?
One of the sentiments that was expressed was, oh, it's the same day as A'ja Wilson's. How could you do? First of all, I remember them announcing A'ja Wilson was getting her jersey retired, but I didn't remember the date or anything. When the Clark news broke, I didn't think about A'ja Wilson. And again, as is the case with Caitlin Clark, this only is going to bring more attention to A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement.
As ticket prices for Clark's ceremony soared, another kind of inflation was taking over: online outrage. A'ja Wilson's fans aren't just upset, they're convinced a conspiracy is at play. But what if the real story is even more explosive than they think? The social media storm ignited with Wilson's supporters crying foul over the timing of Clark's jersey retirement. One fan didn't hold back, tweeting, "Why would y'all retire her jersey on the same day as A'ja Wilson? Are y'all stupid?" This sentiment echoed across social media, with Wilson's fan base feeling like their star was being overshadowed by the Clark phenomenon. But here's where it gets interesting. The timeline of these announcements tells a different story. Iowa didn't just pull Clark's jersey retirement out of thin air. They revealed their plans back on April 11th, 2024, right after the NCAA championship game.
And yes, Clark did get a standing ovation when Iowa's athletics director announced that the university will retire her number 22
jersey.
jersey.
That number holds a lot of weight, far beyond my name, and I guess I'm just really grateful, and it'll be a special day when that happens for sure. Thank you. It's been very special, and this place will always be home to me.
South Carolina didn't unveil their plans for Wilson's jersey retirement until October 2024. 6 months later, folks. Wilson's fans are saying they're not Clark fans, so why should they care about Iowa stealing the spotlight with their announcement? Why can't both players be honored on the same day?
First of all, there's nothing wrong with two schools retiring respective jerseys on the same day. But secondly, if you wanted the focus to be on A'ja Wilson, she'll probably get more attention as the second, most recognized jersey retirement of that day than she would have if she had the stage all to herself on that.
So why are Wilson's fans so certain that Iowa is trying to steal South Carolina's thunder? It all boils down to the meteoric rise of Clark's popularity. Iowa's athletic director, Beth Gutz, put it bluntly, Clark's accomplishments have made a lasting impact on the university and on women's basketball. They weren't responding to Wilson's announcement. They were celebrating their own superstar. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why did it take South Carolina so long to honor Wilson? One fan pointed out the obvious. Why did it take a decade for South Carolina to retire A'ja's number? How is that Iowa's problem? It's a fair question. Wilson graduated in 2018, yet it's taken until 2025 for her alma mater to retire her jersey. That's not on Iowa, that's on South Carolina.
And South Carolina waited years and years to retire A'ja's jersey.
The conspiracy theories are running wild, with some of Wilson's supporters convinced that Iowa deliberately picked this date to overshadow A'ja's moment. But let's think this through. Iowa chose a date that aligns with a high-profile game against USC, featuring rising star Juju Watkins, which was already set to be nationally televised. Plus, Clark's jersey has been hanging in Carver Hawkeye Arena for months. Everyone knew it was coming. How could Iowa possibly know when A'ja's retirement ceremony was planned? No one even knew about it until Clark made her announcement. This isn't about stealing anyone's spotlight. It's about maximizing exposure for women's basketball as a whole.
And then there was, Iowa is rushing this. They're rushing, or everything is rushed with Caitlin Clark. No, she just did things faster and garnered more attention and more notoriety and celebrity and celebration and popularity.
Here's what's hilarious. Some fans are actually asking for Wilson to move her date. One tweet put it bluntly, "Tell A'ja to move her date." Then the face of the WNBA is retiring hers. Show some respect. It's a stark reminder of how quickly the landscape of women's basketball is evolving. So what's really happening here? Is this about disrespect? Or is it simply a changing of the guard in women's basketball? The facts don't back up the conspiracy theories. Iowa's plans were in place long before Wilson's announcement, and they're just capitalizing on Clark's massive popularity. But here's the twist. There might be more to Aga's reaction than just the jersey retirement itself. Is this truly about the ceremony, or could it be a deeper feeling of jealousy?
The Las Vegas Aces, the team that revitalized the modern day super team in the WNBA. They went from dominating the league, winning back-to-back championships, literally having teams craft their roster in order to beat the Aces, is now the team that did not live up to expectations this year, and is a team that's one by one falling apart in front of our own very eyes.
The Las Vegas Aces, the powerhouse that redefined the modern super team in the WNBA, transitioned from reigning supreme with back-to-back championships and forcing other teams to tailor their rosters specifically to challenge them, to now falling short of expectations this season. One by one, the team is disintegrating right before our eyes. Imagine if I told you that the WNBA's mightiest squad is on the verge of collapse. Once the undisputed queens of the court, the Las Vegas Aces are now confronting a major crisis. Free agency has kicked off, and the outlook is bleak. Key players are contemplating exits, and the front office is in turmoil. How is Aces MVP A'ja Wilson managing this sudden descent from glory? From championship celebrations to the team's unraveling, the Aces situation is leaving us reeling.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I wanna be the best person. I wanna be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team.
But while Vegas is faltering, another team is soaring. The Indiana Fever are assembling a formidable lineup, with Caitlin Clark leading the charge and a front office transformation that's turning heads. Could we be witnessing a power shift in the WNBA? Are you ready? Let's dive in.
And recently, they have been in the news for all the wrong reasons.
Remember when the Las Vegas Aces were the shining stars of the WNBA? Those glory days are slipping away quickly. What was once an unstoppable dynasty is now falling apart, and trouble is brewing in Sin City. Imagine this. The Aces just got knocked out of the 2024 playoffs, embarrassed by the New York Liberty. Their offense, once a dominant force, completely collapsed when it counted the most. We're talking about a nearly 7-point drop in their offensive rating. Kelsey Plum and Chelsea Gray saw their shooting percentages plummet during the playoffs. It's as if they overnight forgot how to play basketball.
We have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then, you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year. It just won't. And I'm sad about that because I really like that group. They were a pain in my ass, but I was a pain in their ass too.
As the dust settles on their underwhelming season, the true drama begins to emerge. The Aces ship is sinking rapidly, with key personnel abandoning ship left and right. Coach Becky Hammond didn't hold back. This team won't be the same in 2025. That's putting it mildly. The front office? It's deserted. General Manager Natalie Williams has departed, taking her top assistants with her. It's a mass exodus, and everyone is scrambling for lifeboats. Despite securing back-to-back championships and making a deep playoff run this season, the Las Vegas Aces have let go of General Manager Natalie Williams. But here's where it gets interesting. Kelsey Plum, their exceptional sharpshooter, is contemplating leaving. Rumor has it she's eyeing the Golden State Valkyries. The Aces designated her as a core player, but that's like trying to contain a flood with a paper towel. Check this out. The Aces are offering Plum a supermax contract worth around $250,000 for the 2025 season. Yet, even with that hefty offer, she's still ready to walk away. It seems money can't buy team loyalty after all.
What is going on in their locker room? Like, this Aces team is falling apart. This is not a coach that I would want to play for.
So, how did the once mighty Aces plummet so quickly? Could their very success be the reason for their downfall? Just think about it. Back-to-back championships, a roster brimming with all-stars, and the dazzling allure of Las Vegas. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. But while they were reveling in their triumphs, the rest of the league was catching up. Now, the Aces are facing the harsh reality that pride often precedes a fall. The big question is, can they steer this ship back on course, or is this the end of an era in Sin City? It almost seems like their triumph was the catalyst for their decline. Who would have thought that being at the top could lead to such a dramatic tumble?
We talked a lot of smack last year. I'm sure they heard it, and they got to smack us this year. So, for us, we will have a long off season.
You know the saying about an empty throne. Everyone wants a seat. But for the Las Vegas Aces, it's more like a sinking ship with no captain in sight. The front office resembles a ghost town, and who's left standing? Becky Hammon herself. But can one person navigate this vessel through such turbulent waters? Let's break it down. Free agency has kicked off, but who's calling the shots? Silence. Still no general manager on the horizon. Now, let's focus on Becky Hammon. She's contemplating a Cheryl Reeves-style takeover, a complete coach and GM package. It's a bold move, no doubt, but is it biting off more than she can chew? Hammon is already signaling major changes, saying it's time to take a hard look at ourselves, identify our flaws, and make the necessary adjustments. Sounds like someone is ready to clean the decks and steer this ship back on course.
The WNBA's newest franchise, the Golden State Valkyries, have named Natalie Nakase as their first ever head coach.
But here's the kicker. While Hammon might be preparing to lead the ship solo, her former assistants are abandoning ship. Natalie Nakase is making headlines with the Golden State Valkyries, becoming the first Asian American head coach in WNBA history. Then there's Tyler Marsh. He's plunging into the turbulent waters of the Chicago Sky's drama. Gone are his days of smooth sailing in Vegas. Now he's navigating a locker room that feels more like Mutiny on the Bounty than a dream team. With tension soaring, Marsh has his hands full.
Chicago, as we just said, has Tyler Marsh as their head coach. He was also an assistant for the Las Vegas Aces, so that's caused a lot of back and forth because they've had two now assistant coaches leave. Natalie Nakase is now the head coach of the Valkyries.
Meanwhile, back in Sin City, the Aces are taking on water. There are still no solid replacements for Hammon's key assistants. It's like watching a ship with only the captain on board. You can see it's headed straight for an iceberg, yet you can't look away. The rest of the league? They're circling like sharks, sensing blood in the water. This leadership gap isn't just a minor leak for the Aces. It's a massive hole in the hull that could sink their dynasty faster than you can say back-to-back champions. They're desperately trying to bail out their empire with both hands, but the flood is rising more quickly than they can manage. Will Hammon be able to plug the leaks and keep this ship afloat? Or will the Aces' reign end up at the bottom of the sea?
We don't have it every year. It's not the way this works. You don't get to flip a switch. It's the beautiful thing about sports, actually. The work and the commitment and the buy-in and the play hard and the want to and the will always show up in the end.
Let's shine a spotlight on Kelsey Plum, the Aces' elite sharpshooting guard who's been lighting up the scoreboard all season. But her playoff performance? About as chilly as a Vegas winter. In a pivotal matchup against the Liberty, Plum managed a mere 6 points on 2 of 9 shooting. That's a stark contrast to her regular season stats of 17.8 points per game, 4.2 assists, and an impressive 36.8% from three-point range. Now that Plum is entering free agency, you can bet numerous teams are eager to snatch her away from Sin City.
Age reminds me a lot of you. Like, it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
But the turmoil doesn't end there. Alicia Clark, the veteran forward who has been a steadfast pillar for the Aces, is feeling the emotional weight of all this upheaval. When assistant coach Tyler Marsh decided to head to Chicago, Clark took a day to grieve the loss. It wasn't just about losing a coach, it was about losing a mentor and friend who had been pivotal to the team's success. And what about Tiffany Hayes? The seasoned guard came out of retirement to pursue a championship with the Aces. Now she's an unrestricted free agent, and her future with the team is as uncertain as a rookie's playing time. Will she stay for another shot at glory, or is it time to hang up her sneakers for good?
It seemed like A'ja Wilson was diminishing the accomplishments of players like Kelsey Plum and Paige Beckers and someone who is her teammate. It felt like she was giving Kelsey Plum a backhanded compliment. And a lot of people, Aces fans, WNBA fans, Kelsey Plum fans, across the board really had a problem with this video, and it really left a sour taste in their mouth.
Remember Kate Martin, the Aces' standout young talent? Well, she's now part of the Golden State Valkyries. The expansion draft scooped her up, and she didn't waste any time packing her bags. Within just 48 hours of being drafted, Martin was on a flight to San Francisco, ready to kick off her new journey. But what's really sparking conversations is Becky Hammond's subtle digs at her own players. She's been calling them out for focusing more on their Instagram followers than their free throw percentages. It's like she's trying to coach a team of influencers instead of true ballers. So here we are, watching the once mighty Aces scramble to keep their roster from completely unraveling. It's like they're playing a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and when the music stops, they might find themselves short of enough players to field a starting five. The Aces locker room has transitioned from championship celebrations to dealing with sour disputes in no time. And it's anyone's guess how they'll bounce back from this chaos.
Most of the fans of the basketball player are fans of the sport of basketball. But yeah, if you guys thought that people weren't going to care, 1.7 million views.
Have you caught the newest training clip from Caitlin Clark, released by the Indiana Fever? It's absolutely exploded online, amassing nearly 2 million views within just 24 hours. But here's the kicker: almost immediately, Angel Reese's PR team dropped her own training video. Predictably and humorously, Reese's version fell flat, turning what could have been a great showcase into a total misstep. While Clark's video shines brilliantly, Reese's attempt? Let's just say it's more like fool's gold. Prepare yourself for an engaging and entertaining analysis of these two viral videos. We'll dive into the numbers, explore fan responses, and highlight some over-the-top, misguided efforts by Reese to outshine Clark. Think jealousy isn't a factor? Trust me, this is something you'll want to see. Isn't it amazing how every time Caitlin Clark does literally anything, the internet goes into a frenzy? Her most recent workout video has everyone talking, and for good reason. Let's dive into this clip that ignited social media, racking up 2 million views in just 24 hours. It's truly gone viral. But what makes this video so noteworthy? It's not merely Clark displaying her skills. It serves as a comprehensive guide to self-improvement.
If you guys saw this workout has gotten a lot of people excited for Caitlin Clark because she is like directly working on her weaknesses, which I think is a good look, honestly. I think that's a really, really good look for her because, again, when we're seeing somebody working on their weaknesses and not the glamorous weaknesses.
The video highlights 3 primary areas that Clark is concentrating on. First up, is ball handling in confined spaces. While Clark is already exceptional with the basketball, she led the league in turnovers last season. This was mainly because opponents weren't accustomed to her extraordinary passes, though her turnover rate improved after the Olympic break. Additionally, she often faces double and triple teams, creating intense ball pressure. By enhancing her ability to maintain control under such pressure, she's directly tackling this challenge. Next, we watch Clark perfecting her mid-range game, and this is a major development. While everyone recognizes her signature three-pointers and her prowess at finishing at the rim, she impressively shot 62% from under 5 feet last season. Her mid-range shot has been the missing link in her offensive toolkit. Opponents are forcing her to take these shots by incorporating moves like the assist float and the pull-up jumper. By strengthening her mid-range skills, Clark is making herself even more difficult to defend. Lastly, the video highlights Clark's dedication to finishing through contact. She's fearless when driving to the basket, but playing in the WNBA means facing intense physicality, whether it's on purpose or not. By replicating game-like situations and building her strength, Clark is gearing up for the hard hits she'll take night after night. Just look at those arms.
She's back in her natural habitat, back in the lab, playing basketball, and it's got to be a scary sight for the rest of the WNBA if she gets even better, because it's not as if she wasn't absolutely phenomenally elite as a rookie and arguably the best player in the league after the Olympic break.
Clark isn't just putting in the workouts, she's directly tackling her weaknesses. This isn't merely about keeping her current performance, it's about taking her game to the next level, and that should send shivers down her opponent's spines. So, what does this mean for the upcoming season? Imagine a Caitlin Clark who can handle double teams even more effectively, possesses a solid mid-range game to complement her three-point shooting, and consistently finishes strong through contact. Combine that with her limitless shooting range and exceptional court vision that leads to precise quarterback-like passes. It's like granting Superman immunity to kryptonite, along with his flying, heat vision, super speed, and super strength.
So you're starting from a very high place, but as Michael Jordan once famously said, right, the ceiling is the roof. And there really is no ceiling on Caitlin Clark's game because of her vision. I think that the thing that stands out the most to me is her court vision. And when you're able to shoot from deep, the way she's able to shoot from deep.
Clark is already at the elite level. She shattered the season assists record and, as a rookie, led the league in three-pointers in a single game. She's also among the top scorers in the league. But she's not stopping there. Clark is aiming to become unstoppable. This isn't just off-season training, it's a bold statement of intent. Get ready, because an MVP season is on the way. Clark isn't merely looking to improve, she's determined to dominate the court.
There is really nothing you can do as a defense but hope the ball doesn't go in the basket. That's the level of greatness that Caitlin Clark can get to, where the defense's only hope is that she misses.
But there's more to the story. While Clark is hard at work, someone else felt the need to jump on the bandwagon. Trust me, it doesn't quite match her level of commitment. Imagine this. You're Angel Reese's publicist, and you've just witnessed Caitlin Clark's video go viral. What's your next move? The answer might surprise you and has certainly stirred up the WNBA world. Guess what happened next? Angel Reese's PR team went into full panic mode, rushing to release their own workout video. And let me tell you, it looks like a poor reaction that screams desperation, not dedication.
The lack of, well, proof that she's been in the gym working on her craft, trying to hone her skills after what can only be described as one of the worst shooting seasons anybody's ever seen in the history of basketball.
Let's dive into Reese's video for a moment. Reese is out there showcasing her ball handling skills and sinking shots. It sounds impressive, right? But there's something just not quite right. It's like watching a cover band attempt to replicate a hit song. The notes are hit, but the passion is missing. Now, let's break down the numbers. Clark's video garnered an impressive 2 million views in just 24 hours, while Reese's is trailing with only 200,000 views in 12 hours. At this pace, Reese would struggle to reach even 500,000 in a full day. That's barely a quarter of Clark's impact. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. But here's what's really getting people talking. Where are the Chicago Sky in all of this? You'd expect Reese's own team to take the spotlight, showcasing their star players' off-season dedication. Instead, we're hearing nothing from the Sky and only seeing a hastily put-together video from Reese's PR team, and let's be honest, nobody's impressed. So, what's the real story behind Reese's training? Let's be honest for a moment, this is the same Angel Reese who struggled with a meager 44.5% from less than 5 feet and only 39.1% shooting overall from the field. Those are some of the lowest percentages in WNBA history for someone taking that many close-range shots. You'd expect her workout video to concentrate on, I don't know, actually improving those shots.
When she was literally the most inefficient player within 5 foot in all of the WNBA. Any which way you put it, she shot bad from the field. All right, she's 6'3" and she plays under the basket, and she shot 39.1% from the field.
When she was clearly the least efficient player within 5 feet across the entire WNBA, no matter how you look at it, her shooting from the field was poor. Standing at 6'3" and playing under the basket, she managed only 39.1% from the floor. Instead of focusing on improvement, we're given a highlight reel that prioritizes appearances over addressing genuine flaws. It's all flash with no real substance. This isn't about getting better, it's about maintaining a facade. It seems Reese is more concerned with her Instagram presence than her actual performance stats. But there's more. While Clark is busy transforming her game, Reese has been making headlines on the red carpet, sharing hot takes on podcasts, and complaining about her salary. There's nothing wrong with building your brand, but when your on-court performance is struggling for attention, maybe it's time to rethink your priorities.
No, my rent is more than that. It's $8,000. I'm living beyond my means.
So what do you think about this? Does Angel Reese have a future career in the WNBA, or is she going to end up being another Instagram influencer who couldn't keep up with Caitlin Clark